And now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram Solomon Cigars. And also the Oliva Cigar family. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
I am a blues man. I live this life.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another week of a special show tonight. Great Cigar and Pipe Show, and we're excited. We have a special guest here, which you probably all have seen. We've been promoting the daylights out of him. A wonderful guy indeed. We can't wait to get him on because actually, if you notice, I'm by myself tonight. I have no sidekicks.
You. Carl couldn't take anymore. He walked off.
He walked off.
He walked off. He went to Las Vegas. He don't care about me. He left me dry. So it is what it is. What's that?
He went to Lost Wages.
Lost Wages. Yes, that he did. But yes, I'm all alone. So not much more to talk about up here. Except who am I? I'm Ronnie Pecorini. Down there is my brother, retired Bob.
How you doing, folks? Welcome back.
And the one, the only, the Chooch Master himself, Cousin Frank.
Hello, everyone. And we want to say hello to all of our folks that are jumping on. We've got none other than Bruce Stark. We've got Ish, my man. Ish,
all right.
We've got Larry Frank. We've got Mike Anthony. So, folks,
Mike Anthony, we just got today. I just talked to him a little while ago, and he's on YouTube watching us tonight. So, hello, Michael Anthony. This is his first time. And, of course, Ish. Oh, boy, our friend Ish. Got a lot to talk about with him, folks. But we'll hold that on till we actually have Ish on the show. So, we're excited about what's going on with him. And, again, we got our brother, Johnny, there of the Cigar in the Bottle himself.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny's jumping on.
Johnny saw ya. Hey, Johnny, happy anniversary, John.
Yeah.
Yes, anniversary.
I mean, she's had to put up with you for what, 27 years, Bob?
You know what?
I
didn't even know he was married.
God bless her. I mean, look at that Cigar in the Bottle. Hey, folks, a great product. You have to make sure you go out and seek it out because it's got a VSOP cognac.
Well, you got two premium things. The liquor is fantastic.
Exactly.
And the cigars are great. So,
exactly.
Exactly. The twofer.
It's a twofer.
And the presentation box is beautiful, too.
30
really
years.
Done well.
30 years.
And Johnny's a great guy.
Wow.
Johnny's a great guy.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He's a character. We just had him on the show just 2 weeks ago, and he's got all our sizes, guys, and we'll get the hats and the polos and the shirts and all kinds of good stuff. But if you want a cognac, folks, that is the cognac you have to pick up for your personal bar or give it as a gift. Just drink. It's awesome.
It's a great Father's Day gift. It's a great birthday gift.
It's a great gift Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, it's a great gift.
Listen, that's the great thing about a good cognac is
it's always good after dinner. I mean,
and Bob drinks basically every day. He's a closet alcoholic. Not that we're gonna, publicize that here today.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. No.
I mean, I know we're pairing tonight, but Bob didn't take it out because Bob, he just pours the drinks. He doesn't think about that we actually showcase what we're drinking.
Oh, you know what? There wasn't much left. I left it on the counter.
I think he probably recycled the bottle already.
No. There's a drop left.
It's a weeded bourbon. I forgot the name of it tonight. I don't know.
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I just poured it too.
Yeah, but
this is what happens when you've been drinking for a couple of hours already. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
I like it.
Of course, Bruce Stark. I mean, we just talked about the bottle and the cigar, and he goes,
does he have to go to the bathroom already?
No, not yet. He goes, well, he's married. That's why he had to hide his cigar in the bottle. I mean, the Earthling was coming up with a line for sure. But, what are you going to do? Everybody is coming on, of course.
Spots to hide it, man.
Tonight it's going to be tonight's episode is going to be something really spectacular because we're going to be
It is
doing
epic.
something that we've never done before because
No.
we're going to be smoking individual leaves and then together in combination, in concert, we'll call it, in concert,
Yep.
to get a true sense of the Aganorsa leaf. And ultimately, listen, Aganorsa is kind of synonymous with Nicaraguan tobacco, and it has become the standard, really. And it has a signature, just like Bob has a bad signature. Aganorsa has
What
a
do you mean
good
bad
signature.
signature? Come on.
No, Aganorsa has your signature. No one can read. Aganorsa's, you
Well, because I'm a doctor.
He always wanted to become a gynecologist, Frank, really, but don't tell nobody.
Yeah,
I'm
listen,
the doctor of the leaf.
I think you're the doctor of love.
Doctor of love.
Doctor of love. Ay, 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 God. Hey, everybody, hit the share button, please. While you're on, please hit your share button, and let's get this show out to everybody you have on your social media because it, like Frank said, it is going to be a first on this show.
Yes.
How we are going to be smoking cigars tonight. We're going to start with one, then we're going to light another one together, infuse them together, and then we'll bring another one, infuse that together. So that is going to be quite interesting. We have never done that before. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll explain the other three cigars of what's happening. And he's got a lot to talk about. So everybody hit the share button. And he's such a delightful guy, isn't he?
Terence is, and he's so well-spoken. I mean, very humble and just a great human being. And that's part of the wonders of this industry is you get a chance to meet people who you really want to hang out with in a lounge setting or even in your backyard lanai and just have a smoke and relax and enjoy each other's company. So I think that that's what this is all about. And tonight, folks, you're going to learn a little bit. You might laugh once or twice.
We might learn a lot because
we're going to learn. Hey, listen, we're learning every time. Bob, even you can learn.
I can learn.
Even you can learn.
Yes.
After 150 years of being on this planet, even you can learn something.
I can.
Well, he's the real Earthling from the beginning of time. You know, I mean, him and I think Bruce Stark have been together in a past life. So we're going to find that out for sure.
I really do believe that.
But no, Terry is really just one of those individuals that you could just
calling him Terry. He called him Terry. He called him Terry. I mean, he has him on like a shortened version of Terence. Oh, Terry.
It's like, wow, my good friend. You know, I had him for dinner.
Terry was over
here. Hey. I was at the PCA. I called him Terry and first introduced myself. What can I tell you? But he's that type of guy. He's that type of guy, guys.
Because I'm being respectful.
Ronnie babysits for his kids.
Yeah, he does everything.
He does the grocery shopping for him.
I mean, really, he's that kind of a guy that you just feel like you know him all your life, man. You want to hang out with him. You really do. He's a guy that you want to hang out with. Great conversations. He's always smiling. He's happy. Even if he's miserable, he's going to be happy with you. Don't think about it.
I'm a little jealous.
You better be.
The guy is a good-looking guy. So when we put him on the screen,
just show him.
When you look at us three,
oh boy,
it's scary. And then we put Terence up, and it's like Adonis. So I mean, we should get more females watching because I mean, come on. No, really, I'm being honest.
Well, we got Teresa, we got Kafie. They're all spoken for. I don't know. Come on, hit the share button.
I'm being honest.
Put him on, and we'll leave the room.
That's what we should do. I mean, it's I'm like, wow, this guy is just. I mean, he handles himself so well. He's a good-looking man with a ton of information, and he's brilliant. So
I think it's time to get to that information, don't you think?
Exactly.
Yeah. Enough hype. Enough hype. Bring them on.
Well, why not? Let's go to the sponsors and then bring them back.
Oh, sponsors. Yeah, well, we do need them.
Bruce has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
we have
Bruce,
people who
cut out
need
now,
to,
man.
Yeah, people have to go and take their water closet breaks.
Yeah. Ish, we're not making you nervous. What are we making you nervous about? Come on. Oh boy. I'm telling you, if you start reading some of this stuff, it's
people's comments are always interesting.
Absolutely, except for Bruce.
Except
Not
for
yet.
Bruce.
He doesn't have to go to the bathroom yet. Okay, so it's sponsor time. Anyway,
Well, Bruce, you want to announce the sponsor break?
He usually does that. He usually does that. But we will be back right after that. These words.
hit the sponsor, hit the share button,
About that
people. Let's
word?
get it out there. We
Well,
come
let me
back.
say that word.
Or a word. Or words.
A few words from our sponsor.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Bovita 2-way humidification.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller Cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, the Art of Magic.
Over the Rhine Premium Cigars is located in the heart of Cincinnati, 50 yards south of historic Findlay Market. We offer both known brands and the finest boutique cigars available. Feel free to bring your favorite beverage and relax in Dude Daycare, where dudes of all genders are welcome. We look forward to serving you at Over the Rhine Premium Cigars. And we are a proud member of the Boutique Cigar Association.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
You kind of do this when you.
And we're back, guys.
Yeah, no, you have to.
What are you doing? You doing? What's
Well,
this
it's
all
part of
about?
like the cha-cha. That music's got me going. You know?
Oh, okay. Well, I seen you going over the weekend, so you definitely have got your dancing boots on, buddy. No question about it. You and Mr. Eden and Mr. Cook.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
we were doing
3
a lot of
scary
partying.
dudes.
We were partying here in Margaritaville, in Daytona Beach. Great weather. And again, it's being around friends and enjoying each other's company and smoking cigars probably every night, and many of them. So that's the key. Enjoy life because
Exactly.
that's what we have. Now, before we introduce Terence live, I wanted to run this clip so folks can get a sense as to what we're doing.
You don't want them to see it? You don't want to bring them on and then show them?
No, I want to. This will kind of lead in. It's called a lead in, Ron.
It's okay. I
In
lead
show
into
business-
anything.
In show business, this is called a lead in.
Okay, there. All right, there.
Hi, Terence Reilly here with Aganorsa Leaf. So Aganorsa is known for its signature flavor and aroma, and we're going to demonstrate how we create that signature flavor and aroma right here and now. Corojo 99 from Jalapa. It's a viso leaf, so it means the middle part of the plant. And so when I light this up, it should impart salivation on the sides of my mouth, some sweetness and spice up front and through the retrohale. Yeah, it's called a gusher. We get so much salivation, it's like your mouth is gushing. Absolutely delicious. The other seed we're known for is Criollo 98, and from Esteli specifically. Criollo 98 from Esteli is more quintessential Nicaraguan tobacco. The Corojo 99 I just smoked is more Cuban-esque. So when you think of Nicaraguan cigars, you're thinking, generally speaking, more of Criollo from Esteli. This is also a Viso leaf, so it's the middle part of the plant still, just as the Corojo was. So all we've changed is the seed varietal and the region. And this is gonna be earthier, it's gonna be grittier, it's gonna have more body to it. And when I put my tongue to the roof of my palate, I'm gonna get some salt. Completely different flavor and aroma. Equally delicious, but very different. We're gonna put them together to show how, when you combine them, they're greater than the sum of their parts, just like a cake is more than egg, sugar, and butter. More complex, more round, much more like a cigar. This is the backbone of Aganorsa right here. So right here is the rare leaf. So now that I've smoked the Corojo and the Criollo both separately and together, we're now gonna smoke a cigar that contains both those tobaccos. So we've kind of gone from single notes on the piano to chopsticks, and now we have Mozart here. Now you can taste more of the Criollo in the rare leaf because it's more Criollo dominant, but the Corojo is still there. You still get the sweetness. It's still having an impact on the blend, just not as dominant as the Criollo. And this cigar is only available at our Aganorsa Select partners. Check them out.
In these pilones, then, what we do now is the famous Fumas. Okay, he's doing a Fuma. Okay, apart from smelling it and touching it, we also begin to smoke it, to follow along where it's at, what it needs, and if it's proceeding along. The leaf is our strength. This is where it all begins and ends.
That was very cool.
Wow.
Very cool. Wow.
What an introduction, guys. What an introduction. Wow, I got to come on the show more.
Anytime, just let us know. We'll get you on.
Yeah,
We'll wait till the end of the year, though. We're booked up. But we will see you at PCA, so we'll definitely hit you up for that one again.
Yeah, but please stop by. Yeah.
Definitely, Frank. That was excellent, by the way. Putting that.
Well, I didn't do it. I had nothing to do.
I know,
with
but
it.
it's the lead in, you know. So,
but I wanted to lead in with something that really kind of makes sense because we're going to be kind of going down this path. So.
And the viewers already have like an introduction into what's going to happen here tonight.
So it helps.
Yeah, it was quite the lead in.
Yeah. See.
Well, let's continue with the the lead in. So, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself also? Yes. Let the people know. And Frank, just put him on the screen because, you know.
I am, of course.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah,
I think I'm wearing the same shirt I was wearing in the video, too. So
it's a uniform. It's a uniform. It's all.
As long as Terence washed it, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a scratch and sniff show.
No.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I give away, but don't worry about it. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, there, so everybody knows.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the nickel version of things is that, you know, Terence Reilly is about as gringo name as you can possibly have. But my father, he's the family's partly Spanish and we're in Cuba. And so I have Cuban family and my uncle is a gentleman named Manuel Quesada. And Manuel Quesada, when they left Cuba and donated all their property to Castro very generously, they went to Dominican Republic. They set up growing leaf operation there, leaf brokering operation for tobacco, and in the 70s opened up a factory of their own in 1974. For many years they made the Fonseca cigars, which they recently sold to my father, who makes them now. Quesada brands, Casa Magna, which is made in conjunction with Plasencia. And I basically one summer when I was younger went down just to spend a summer in Dominican Republic. I didn't even smoke cigars. I was a lot younger at the time. And and just, you know, fell in love with what everyone falls in love with. You know, the amount of work that goes into making a cigar. I'd go over to my uncle's house on a Sunday. Everybody'd be smoking cigars, playing cards, having a drink, eating pizza, you know, having lunch or whatever. And so I started having a cigar with everybody on Sundays. And then I said, well, there's something to this. And so then a few years later, my uncle wanted somebody to help operate the business in the U.S. side of things and distribution and sales. And he was kind enough to think of me. And I started working with him. And I worked there for almost 10 years. And then just over 5 years ago now, I came to Aganorsa, and I've been with Aganorsa ever since. And the reason I joined Aganorsa was when I had left working with my family, I didn't really know where I was going to go. I didn't have like a set plan. And, somebody that had worked with me previously at Quesada, he worked with Eduardo in Aganorsa at the time called Casa Fernandez, and basically said, hey, would you give us a chance? We're looking for somebody. Would you give us an opportunity to, you know, win you over and to talk about working with us? And I said, yeah, what the heck? Sure. You know, just really out of respect for this individual. And it just, the more I saw, the more I was impressed. It was kind of one of these situations where they're growing tobacco, selling it to people like Drew Estate, Fuente, Oliva, Espinosa, Padron over the years. And then they're making some of the hottest, most acclaimed cigars in the market: Warped, Viaje, HVC, Illusion, of course.
Right.
And then their own brands were just not known as well. It was confusing. Casa Fernandez, there's a lot of Casas, there's a lot of Fernandezes.
Right.
And it just seemed more, it was like the best cigar you've never heard of is one you don't smoke. And it was more of an issue with their branding and their marketing and things like that. And that really was more attractive to me because they had all the pieces there. They had great cigars, they had great tobacco, they're vertically integrated. Everybody thought the blends were great blends. They just would say, you know, it's confusing. People think it's AJ Fernandez, or they haven't heard of you. There's not really, we don't have a sales rep, or, you know. And so I was like, well, I think I can help with that. And so I joined the company, and we changed the name to Aganorsa because the growing company is called Aganorsa. And so that stands for, if you think that's hard to say, it's Agrícola Ganadera Norteña S.A., which basically means like Nicaraguan farming and ranching company. But every company tries to separate themselves in a different way, right? And there's generally three ways. You walk in the humidor, there's tons of cigars. How does anybody stand out? And the three most common ways is kind of coastal personality. You think of the owner of the business. If you think of the owner of the cigars, I always use Rocky Patel as a great example. Nobody could possibly think of Rocky Patel without thinking of Rocky. I mean,
right.
It's named after him. His charisma, his personality. He's a force of nature. He's a big part of what makes the brand stand out to people. And then you have lifestyle companies. Who owns Davidoff? Who knows? I mean, we might know, but
right.
I mean, the average person has no idea. But they immediately think of luxury, and they think of the guy with the watch and the nice suit and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then there's product based, product based, where it's something about the product itself. Home of Lajero, La Flor Dominicana. And Aganorsa is a product-based company. I'm dressed like, I work at Best Buy, so that's not a lifestyle anyone's going for. I'm not the owner of the company, and the owner, who is an incredible guy, Eduardo Fernandez. He's not he's not out there, as a face. That's not really what he likes to do. He likes to be on the farms. He likes the agricultural side. And that's a massive operation. I think we're the second largest private landowners in Nicaragua. So
wow.
It's a big business.
Wow.
And so, what makes it special is the leaf. That's what makes it special. That's why other companies come and buy tobacco from us. That's why a lot of people with incredible palates make cigars with us. And so that it made sense to make that be the focus of the company. And so we changed everything to Aganorsa Leaf. And one of the ways we help to demonstrate, kind of spread the gospel of Aganorsa, is rather than have somebody talk about it, especially a gringo, we have you experience it. We actually have you smoke the actual individual components that make Aganorsa special.
Right. Right. And that's what we were looking forward to. And we've all smoked different Aganorsa products. And like you said, I think each company does have that kind of signature. in a way, whether it's that front person or front woman, man, whoever that might be. But I think when you came on to Aganorsa, you became that person that people could connect to. So you were very approachable. And I think you also allowed that brand to kind of have a space on its own. And it's not just the Leaf that's, you know, a ton of companies are sharing, but you were able to give it that personality. So kudos to you, because that is not an easy task for anyone.
No, it's
but he's got the face now too. It's the face that you go with it, because it's really true. You're all over. You got that personality that you draw. You're a magnet. You're easy to get along with. You got a fantastic smile and a great disposition about yourself. You do it, man. I mean, I seen you in action, waiting to just say hello to you. You know, your hands are going all over, and you know you always make a time for somebody. And it's great. And a lot of people don't do that. I mean, really. And so kudos to what you do, and just stepping up front. And people, when they see you, they know, you know, your cigars and everything else around you.
I just want you guys to know you guys have excellent taste in people. And
well, the three of us, you know, we're not so good. But
anybody who meets us, they're like, no, I'd rather forget those. But you know, we definitely are either memorable or not so memorable. But we do appreciate you taking the time to spend with us and giving us a little bit of a training session here, I'll call it, and giving us the ability to do something that we've never done before. Because it's not like we've been at the factory and had the opportunity to do this, and we've never seeked this out. And don't ask me why we haven't.
It's not readily available.
Well,
it's like you go into a humidor, you know, in a brick and mortar store and say, "Do you have this particular leaf? Only the leaf. I want to taste it." You know, it just doesn't happen. So.
I have to clear things up, guys. I'm sorry. Bruce Stark, no, I am not hitting on him. Okay, just want to make that clear.
Oh, man.
I'm happily married.
Good old Bruce.
God, wow.
Woo. Bruce is one of our long listeners that always has some really interesting things to say. We're waiting for him to tell us when to go to the next set of sponsors so he can go to the bathroom. That's the type of relationship we have.
So Terence, or as Ronnie likes to call
Terry.
Terry.
Yeah.
I've been called worse.
And there you go.
You know, I have a question before I forget. We were talking about this earlier. You mentioned how much tobacco you do grow. How many acres do you guys really own?
So there's two aspects. So the company is not only tobacco, although the tobacco is massive. It's also it's an agricultural company. So in ranching, so it has pig farms, it has cattle ranches. They grow other rice and hummus and other things as well. But on the tobacco side, it's like, I think it's close to 2,000 acres. They measure it in something called manzanas, which means apples in Spanish. I don't know why it's called that, but I think it's like 1 manzana is like 1.8 acres or something like that. And so we have like close to 1,000 manzanas. So it's a lot of tobacco. It's what, you know,
that's a lot.
When you see, you know, on our YouTube channel and things like that, we show some videos if anyone's interested, where you can actually kind of, you know, we do overviews and things like that. And it's massive. I mean, when you just see how big one farm is, and then when we have, I think, 14 farms now, that is, it's just really incredible how big.
Ron, what are you playing there? What are you doing there?
I did nothing.
Oh yeah, you hit something.
Oh, my phone hit it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, he wanted to give you background music.
That could be what they call a real Ronnieism. I'm looking at these guys saying, I didn't say anything like that, but yeah, go ahead.
They're like, Terence is kind of boring the people. Let's get some music to liven it up here.
Oh, man.
That's what happens when he doesn't have his tech guy there.
My sidekick. That's right, Kyle. My sidekick. I said
so he's trying to operate the board. And again, he's partially blind. Bob is fully blind. So, Kyle is the youngest of all of us. So he helps us manage through things. And I kind of take care of things on this end in Daytona. But take us through this, because I'm excited. I want to smoke.
Yeah, I want to get to
so what we're basically going to do here is you have 3 Fumas. They're Puritos. There's different names for them, but we call them Fumas, generally speaking. And it's basically one tobacco leaf, essentially. So what you have there is the Corojo 99 Viso leaf from Jalapa, Criollo 98 leaf from Esteli, also a Viso, and then Corojo 2012, which is also a Viso. So you have all 3. The first 2 of those are in all our blends. So that is going to give you the backbone of Aganorsa. And then the 2012 is a newer seed varietal, but we've been utilizing, and it's currently only on the Garden of the Farm Cerberus from our product line. And so we're going to walk through that. So the one we always start with is the Corojo 99 from Jalapa.
Okay.
So just to give a little bit of a preface before you light that up, let me say a couple things. Sometimes it's just a rolled up leaf. It's not a cigar. So the draw sometimes is loose. So it might be, you got to be a little careful sometimes when you pull on that, because if you start hacking all over the air, it kind of looks bad for all of us.
I don't want to burn my shirt, my pants,
And so that's one thing to keep in mind. The other is that it's the key tasting elements in this. And again, there's, like I said, I'm not saying it's limited to this, but these are the palpable ones. It should make you salivate on the sides of your mouth, spice on the tip of the tongue, and a lingering sweetness. We use this tobacco as wrapper, binder, filler. These are binder leaves just for the sake of it's easy to use binder leaves. But every cigar that you smoke of Aganorsa will have Corojo 99 from Jalapa in it, in some capacity.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm going to rinse my mouth out with some water right now.
I thought you were going to say soap.
Yeah, soap.
So did I, actually.
Well,
because
I don't want the bourbon to interfere.
Oh, see that I'm going to do the same because I'm
Wow.
smart, palate cleanse. Bob.
Yep. Do you have any crackers?
Well, 2 saltines in there.
Sorbet. What would you like?
All right.
Here you go.
So spark it up, buddy.
Here you go. Well, I'll give you a lighter too. I don't want to.
And while you light them up, just Jalapa is very similar to Pinar del Rio in Cuba. It has similar climate conditions. Has a very red, sandy soil. It's in the north of Nicaragua. It borders Honduras, and it's kind of out there. Esteli is about 2 to 3 hours, depending on the courage and ability of your driver from the airport. And then Esteli from Jalapa is another 4 hours. So it's a haul to get there. So you're kind of in the northern part of Nicaragua on the border with Honduras, and it's beautiful conditions. We can grow wrapper there. We're wrapper quality leaf, both shade and sun grown. And it's really a special part of what makes Aganorsa what it is. Also because Corojo 99, we're the only major growers of it in Nicaragua. It's kind of like the tomatoes in the grocery store. They're not grown specifically or solely because of flavor. There's a whole bunch of things. They don't ripen too easy. They don't bruise too fast, so they can ship them from Florida to Ohio or Illinois or wherever it is and make it more profitable. And the same thing goes for tobacco. Some tobaccos are more resistant to disease than Corojo 99. Some ferment faster. Some have larger yields. And those are all factors when you're growing tobacco, is that, if you can turn a larger percentage of it into something profitable, that may lead you to grow something else, even though the flavor of one might be better. And for us, because we grow on such a capacity, we're able to grow Corojo 99 profitably. And that's, I think, one of the real signature points of us is that nobody else on any real scale is growing it in Nicaragua. So it's more special to the Aganorsa flavor.
It's really delicious.
Oh my goodness! Oh, what's amazing too, Bob, is to think that now this seed was brought to Nicaragua in what, 96, 97? When was about the time?
So then the year indicates the year that the Cubans started utilizing it. The original Cuban Corojo back in the 70s was hit by blue mold or a disease. Basically, it almost eliminated Cuban tobacco. It was a disaster. And so they started growing all sorts of different of variants that were hybrids, for lack of a better word, to resist disease, for better yield, for all sorts of burn, all sorts of different qualities. And there's a whole bunch of these. There's Habano 92, Corojo 99, Corojo 98, Habano 2000, Habano 2006. And some of them stick around and some of them get replaced and some of them, just never really make it. And the year is just the year that tobacco kind of came online in Cuba. And so the Corojo 99, they started growing that in 99. And then in 98, the 2012. For us, you usually can't use it that quickly because, like, for instance, in 2012, we only just recently in the past year started using it in cigars.
Right.
Because you got to grow a test crop, then you got to cure, you got to ferment, you got to age that, and then you got to see how you can blend with it, and that all takes years to do.
Right.
And then if it's viable, if it's not viable, well then okay, back to the drawing board. And if it is viable, now you've got to do the same thing over again on a larger scale, and that takes years to kind of develop. But like I said, Corojo 99, because it's not is attractive due to some other qualities that have nothing to do with flavor and aroma. It's not grown, as far as I know, in any capacity in Nicaragua.
Wow.
Other than by us.
Other than by you. Wow. It has a
and my question is why? I mean, really, it's very good.
Well, remember, you got to pay the bills, man.
You got to pay the bills.
Yeah. I mean, we're blessed in the sense that Eduardo's has it's a whole part of a whole conglomerate of tobacco and cattle and pigs and farming and all these different things. That makes it a little bit easier to manage. Also, we grow on such a large scale, but if as a farmer you have a certain amount of space and you go, okay, I can grow this and I can make X amount of dollars or Y dollars, and it doesn't mean the other stuff is bad. That's not what it means. It just means that it's not as profitable. And so for a lot of people, they'll say, again, it's tomatoes at the grocery store. It's not that they're bad. It's just that like they're not grown purely to be delicious. They're grown for a lot of qualities, because if you're trying to make a living and send your kid to school, college, and pay the electric bill, that's just the reality. I mean, it's not going to be great tobacco if you're out of business.
Do you wind up selling the primings, the top primings, because they're going to have obviously a little bit more kick. They're going to be a little bit more stronger, because since this is a viso, it's more the center of the crop, correct?
Yes. So the Nicaraguan viso is really special. I think viso is a Nicaraguan word. Cuba doesn't classify according to the term viso. Everything falls into seco and ligero. And I don't think Dominican Republic did for many years. I think they started classifying it that way because of Nicaragua. And Nicaraguan viso is special in that you have the potency and the robustness that you can get, not from a ligero, but close to that, while maintaining the complexity. So you have more strength than a seco, and you have more complexity than a ligero. And so that's why, for the tasting purposes, that's not an accident that we use viso. Viso is really special in Nicaragua for that reason. But yes, the people they definitely like hard primings of the plant. We do not sell wrapper. We sell binder and filler. The wrapper we use only for our own products.
Your own product. Okay.
And for what we make for other people. So whether that's
what kind of pH is the soil for this?
I'm going to make something very clear here right now. I am not an agronomist.
I'm not an agronomist.
We have Cuban farmers that are very well skilled in that. I'll bring them on next time with a translator, and they'll answer all.
Bob, you really went technical there. I mean,
I'm not telling you.
Yeah. I'm not that knowledgeable.
What's really
in that type of
is this alone is fantastic.
Yeah,
so now
I can just smoke this.
Right.
I'm really impressed with this.
Totally. So now take us to, we're going to set this aside.
Yeah, set it aside. Don't toss it. We're going to come back to it.
Bob will never set anything aside.
No.
Yeah. We'll set that aside, and now we'll move over to the
98.
The 98.
Yeah, so
the Viso Esteli.
Yeah, so we're keeping viso consistent between the two. So we're still a viso. It's still the middle part of the plant, right?
Yep.
But we've changed the seed varietal, which is Criollo 98, and we've changed the region to Esteli. Now, there's two things here that are very important to take it into this is that one is Criollo 98 is very commonly grown in Nicaragua. A lot of people grow it. Placencia grows it. AJ Fernandez grows it, I believe. I think the guys that my father grow. I think it's pretty commonly grown in Nicaragua by a lot of people. And Esteli is kind of what people think of when they think of Nicaragua. It has very dark, rich volcanic earth.
Right.
Jalapa had that sandy, reddish soil. Esteli is really dark, rich volcanic soil. It's in fact, if it rains too soon to the planting time, they have to wait for it to dry because they can't even till the farm because it'll break the plow. It's just so thick. So this is more quintessential Nicaraguan tobacco, where the first is kind of more distinctive to us. This is going to be earthier. It's going to be grittier. And when you put your tongue to the roof of your palate, roof of your mouth, you'll get salt.
Salt, huh? All right, let's see.
Oh yeah.
Totally different flavor, right?
Totally different. Totally different. Where you have this has a much fuller body, totally salt. I get that salt immediate, without a doubt. But both make me salivate.
Yeah.
I mean, I am salivating, and I've got a little bit of that. What I'll say, a little pepper up in the retro, but.
Yeah, a little more spice on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is hitting you more down the center of the palate, and the first is more to the sides and the front.
Outside.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Oh,
but the salivating is amazing on both of them.
Oh yeah.
So, and we use this as binder and filler. We don't use this wrapper. Esteli, it's very difficult to grow any wrapper. It's a little too hot. And with wrapper, once it gets too thick, it can't be used as wrapper. And so Jalapa's more congenial to growing wrapper quality leaf. But we use it as binder and filler. And really, our cigars are binder driven. Everyone talks about the wrapper. The traditional way of blending was really that the wrapper was almost aesthetic. It was meant to look nice. And it was really the internals that were driving the blend. Now, again, you can make anything
really
stand out in a blend.
Yeah, but that's really interesting because a lot of people will equivocate flavor to the wrapper. And say that the binder filler are there kind of like an adjunct. They're not. They're just there to kind of.
So you can make the wrapper stand out. There's no question. Like if we just take a cigar and you take off that one wrapper and you put another wrapper on, it's radically different. But that's because it's kind of become unbalanced. And so now you're tasting the wrapper is a huge difference between the two. But you could potentially take any component out of the cigar and radically change it.
Exactly.
And so that and again, that's not to say that some people they try to drive the blend they want their San Andres Maduro to be the driving factor, and then you can do that. It's not that that's not true, and that's probably the more common, more new age way of doing it. But traditionally, that was not the procedure. It was more the wrapper was basically aesthetic, and the binder filler was driving the blend.
Totally different on the retro hill on this one.
Totally.
Wow.
In that middle, like Terence was saying, that middle part of your palate is where this hits. It hits on.
It's got me right in the back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, do you have a preference towards one or the other?
I like both. I think what's interesting to me. I think the Esteli is a bit more smokier. I'll say it has it has a little bit more smoke,
a little more spice to it,
and more spice for sure. But I think
definitely stronger.
And Bob is a full body, full flavored cigar smoker, and I tend to go medium to full. So I think I'm looking forward to the experience of both because, like you were saying in that little intro, it's the sum of both that equal.
Are you a politician? I asked you which one you prefer more right now.
I said I prefer both.
He got you, Frank.
I'm a politician. I don't recall.
I don't recall.
I take the fifth.
I
like the
different.
99.
Which one I like better?
There's more nuance. I think
this is more complex. It's got much more different
And
things.
let me preface what I'm saying is there's no right answer. Like some people prefer 99 and some people prefer 98.
Right.
The reason I ask is that generally speaking, somebody has a preference towards one, unless they're a politician, and so it helps us actually make recommendations, because a lot of times in a cigar shop, the guy walks in and they're like, well, what do you like to smoke? And the guy goes, well, I like mild cigars like Padron and La Flor Dominicana and Macanudo and Davidoff. And you're like, oh, those four cigars don't taste anything alike at all. And what they're basically doing is they're just telling you cigars they like. They're not really telling you, anything about like any trend with what they like. And so if they can say like, well, I really like Aganorsa's Corojo 99, there are blends that we can lead you to. Well, that will be the dominant flavor. And if you say, well, the 98 is really what, I prefer, there are blends we can drive you that way. And so part of the reason we do this is to make sure you get the right cigar, because we're not selling yachts. This is like, it's not like you sell a guy a cigar, even on the high end of cigars. I mean, if that person smokes it and goes, oh, well, this is not what I like at all, it's a waste of everybody's time. What you want is to get somebody something that they're going to really enjoy and love it so much they go back to it again and again, and they tell other people about it and say, oh man, you've got to try Aganorsa's. And so that's really crucial to getting the right cigar if that process is going to take place. And so and that's why we ask. So I'm busting your chops, obviously, but
I'll use this as my gauge. The first cigar, I could have it first thing in the morning. I could have it with my coffee first thing in the morning. It's a good start the day cigar. This afternoon. This would be
after dinner.
After dinner, after lunch. This is already like I'm into the day already. It's more complex, definitely a lot stronger. I mean, this is probably the cigar I would go to, but that I could smoke first thing in the morning.
99 is excellent in the morning for sure, Bob. I could see that with a coffee.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to Cheech and Chong it. You're going to put them together at the same
Dave's
time.
not home. Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here. It's funny. I use that reference sometimes, and I'll be places. It just shows you I'm getting old, and they'll be like, "Who's that?" And I'll be like, I'm getting old, man.
So, folks, that's what we're doing. We're putting the two together here. All right.
Yeah, make sure they're both lit, because one of my sometimes they go out there, it's just a roll of bleed. And it should be hitting the whole palate. It should be more complex. You should be tasting aspects of both of them, but also it should be greater than the sum of its parts. So
totally.
Now, that changed the complex altogether.
Yeah, and so this is crucial here, is these two have to go together well, right? And I mean, it's kind of like people. Sometimes they're great by themselves. You put them together, they get divorced. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they don't combine well. And it's the same thing with tobacco. You can have a great varietal of tobacco and another great varietal of tobacco, but they don't combine well. And if they don't combine well, you have a mess now.
Well, this goes very well.
Oh yeah, that is really what you're smoking is the backbone of Aganorsa. That's what every blend of Aganorsa has, those two tobaccos in it, and that synthesis. Again, this is chopsticks. The cigar is Mozart, but you're getting the basic elements of the components that create that flavor and where everything comes from.
Wow. What a difference.
What a difference. Because what happens is now you're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Before you were guided into a lane.
There's a 4-cylinder. Now I'm 6-cylinder.
No.
I want to go to an 8-cylinder.
We're going to get there.
Give me a nice 427, big block.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, completely different.
And the first, smoking them individually is also a little bit of that is, some people like savory food or they like sweeter food, but they don't like eating sugar or eating salt. They just like that contributing to their experience. And so it's the same thing when you have them by themselves. That kind of gives you a sense of, okay, this person's going to like this style more or that style more. And then when you put them together, you see how they really contribute to create that synthesis and how each of them, you're still tasting the notes that they individually offer, but then you're also tasting other elements that weren't there by themselves. And that's really what's cool about
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the beauty of this is you are getting kind of like this crossover. And I guess I mean, that's the magic, I'll call it, of tobacco.
Well, that's the magic of
Really?
blending.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the master blender,
Right.
knowing what goes together. You know?
And they do this pretty much from the time of fermentation on, and that's how you keep blends consistent. You know, that's how they're doing this all the time down there. They're doing it from the peel on. We don't use the peel ons for you guys because that's not always fun because that's not finished. You can still have unpleasant. It's kind of like putting your finger in the food, to see if it's done.
Yeah, before it's ready.
What you're tasting is the finalized leaf.
Yeah, this is after it's been fermented, after it's aged.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's truly part of what you would experience as a smoker.
Exactly.
It's not like, because obviously the blenders, their palates are so attuned to and I'm always amazed at how they do this year after year, blending to have that same profile, even though there's so many changes in weather, water,
so much play in everything.
You
how you can consistently get that taste that you're known for.
Well, this is it. This is how they do it, man. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really having people that know, having the know-how, having the that can make the adjustments in the different processes necessary, and then having the inventory. And that's really what it is you need to have inventory, and you need to have people that know how to utilize tobacco to create optimal flavor and aroma, or at least the type that you're looking for. And that's really, again, it sounds simple, but that's it's
not
complicated.
Not simple at all.
It's complicated because the nuances. So when you do, I mean,
also how they burn? I mean, look at the difference between the two.
You smoked the hell out of that.
Well, I did smoke a faster, but
see, mine are more even.
Yeah, and also you have to keep in mind some of them will. I mean, they're just rolled up quickly, so sometimes the airflow will go through more, and you'll get burned faster. So don't pay too much attention to that color. Right. There's no coloring sorting in this. But let's go to the final one because it looks like you guys. I don't want those to be gone before we get to the last.
I know,
one.
right?
Yeah. So let me separate them here.
I got them sitting on the side.
So
you stole mine.
So the final one is Corojo 2012.
Yeah, where did it go?
I don't know.
Oh, great! You threw them away.
Unbelievable.
Check the floor. I didn't steal it.
The floor was there.
You guys need tattoos on your head so we can see it all. While they're looking, go ahead. Explain it. The next one here.
So basically, the Corojo 2012 is unlike the other two. It's only currently in one cigar we make for ourselves. It's in the Piven by Illusion. It's used as a filler in there. It's in the HVC 10th anniversary, and it's in this cigar, the Guardian of the Farm Cerberus. That's where you get the three-headed dog from Hades. It's got each head stands for one of the tobaccos, and so this tobacco will stand out. Because you won't taste it in the vast majority of our blends. So it adds another level of complexity to this. So when you light this up, it's interesting. It's got a very leathery quality to it.
Yes.
And it's also kind of floral. It's almost like a potpourri.
Yes, floral for sure. And I get almost like a kind of nutmeggy, baking kind of spice here.
Baking spice, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, totally different flavor, totally different. Now, I'm going to kind of, I shouldn't do this because you guys, I'd like to not to prejudice you guys, but I personally by itself don't love it. It's my least favorite of the three by itself. However, when you combine it with the other two, I think it really brings something to the table. And that's what I think is another important thing to remember. Some tobaccos by themselves, it's kind of like, like oil and vinegar you put on your salad or something like that. I mean, you wouldn't want to have that by itself. It would be offensive to you. But you combine it and it really, brings out the flavor and the zest. And so when you put the three of them together, you're going to see how it's going to add another level of complexity and nuance.
Can we do that now? I'll be honest with you. I don't like it by itself.
Yeah, do it now. Yeah.
I don't mind it because I do like the baking spice.
Yeah.
No, some people it's their favorite. Like that's why I shouldn't even said anything because when we do this, sometimes they're like, this is the best one. Do you have anything with all? So this, the other thing is that we want you to trust your palate. Who cares what I think? what do I know? You know, you're the one that's smoking it. Like your palate is the one that matters. And so we want you to I mean, I out of the Corojo 99 and Criollo 98, I prefer Corojo 99 personally. But we'll do events sometimes and literally everybody prefers the Criollo 98. And then other times everyone's with me and they prefer 99. Sometimes it's split. And so it really doesn't make any difference which one you like the most. Mm-hmm. What matters is that we pinpoint that so that we can get you the cigar that you're going to enjoy the most.
Mm. Now there's a completely different taste altogether with all three now. Holy cow.
Definitely cookie dough on this one.
Cookie dough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cookie dough.
I get that cookie dough with, and now when I combine them, you don't have all three yet.
No. I'm still getting this.
Bob, you got to put all three. Changes everything.
In a second. I'm checking this one out.
Wow.
Stay with the group. We can't have people wandering off. And
it's Bob. It's Bob. Put it this way, he hates to stop doing anything. I mean, this is already killing him that he wasn't able to finish the first one. And forget about it in the second one.
I know.
And, this is freaking Bob out. He's not going to sleep tonight.
It can't all be glory, guys. It can't all be glory.
But this is absolutely amazing. I can't believe this is the way it's actually done. I haven't been at a farm, so I can't really say. But to come up and actually think about this is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I love the experience because it does give you a chance to sit there and discern each leaf and appreciate each one for what it brings to the table.
Yeah, and if you, I mean, literally, like what they do is like we'll go to where they have the storage for the tobacco, and they'll take bales and they'll take 20 bales and they'll cut them open and they'll make a fuma of, okay, this is Seco from Chilamate Farm in Esteli. Okay, they smoke that. Okay, then they go to the next bale and then they go to the next bale and they do this all the time, and it just shows you we're just tasting three seed varietals from two regions and one priming. So like we could be tasting Criollo 98 Esteli Liero, Criollo 98 Esteli Medio Tiempo, Criollo 98 Esteli Seco, and then from one farm to the next farm, you know, there's differences in terms of that. And so again, it's just the combinations are endless.
They're endless.
Yeah. Wow. This is blowing me away. I'll be honest with you. We never done this before, and we never got this lesson 101.
Well, I told you it's going to be the greatest night of our whole lives, and I think
exactly. Oh, I love this.
So far you're hitting it all. My God, holy cow!
And like I said, each one does have its own little way it burns as well. A little bit smokier, a little less smokier, a little bit more on the baking spice, a little bit more on the I'll call it a black pepper or a little bit stronger. But now with all three, I think what it does is I think it brings it to a point where not one is overtaking the other, but they're working in harmony in a way that is so special. Kudos, because this is the way everyone should smoke to get an idea as to what they're smoking, and it gives them the ability to do so.
Yeah, and what's really nice about this is that, like, for instance, like I've listened to music my whole life. I don't know what A flat sounds like, you know, or B flat or whatever. You know, B flat. That shows you how little I know about music. I don't even know the notes. But like, if somebody went on the piano and just kept banging B flat over and over and over again, I probably at some point would be able to start picking out that particular sound. And it's the same thing with what we're doing here. Is like just because you smoke a lot of cigars doesn't mean that you really are able to pick out the nuances necessarily that you're able to if you're doing what we're doing here now. Just because listening to music, it doesn't mean you don't have an appreciation for music, you don't like music, but knowing like listening to music doesn't help you really know how to play the piano or have a greater understanding of how music is put together. And you don't need to do that, but definitely it deepens your appreciation for it. Definitely it deepens your ability to discuss it. And again, like we always say, to have confidence in your palate, to know what you like and why you like it. And so that when you go to the retailer and say, you know, this is what I'm looking for, you're more likely to get a cigar that you're really going to enjoy.
Absolutely.
The retro now is unbelievable with all three together, huh, guys?
Wow. Again, I'm enjoying. Like I said, I've been kind of going back and forth and trying one and seeing, oh, that is still there, because I'm like, wait a minute, combined, it's kind of not the same. So
yeah, you guys can even mix them around. You can take the 12 and the 99 and then the 98.
That's what I've done.
I'm getting to the point where I'm sorry. The first one is burnt out for me. It's gone.
So now you're
but now I'm on
which
two.
One, which two are
the first one is gone. I went through
90,
that one.
So he's with the right now. He's with the 98 and the 2.
The 98 and the 2012.
And this is a delicious combination right now.
Exactly. And I've got the 99 and 12.
So with the final step is, and again, I hate to, poor Bob is going to.
Poor Bob, but
hate
that's
me.
Bob.
I sent you 3 cigars. I know I sent you the Cerberus. Can you tell me the other 2 off? I think a Rare Leaf.
A Rare Leaf and the Corojo.
Yeah, Aganorsa Leaf Corojo. Okay. So if you want to, depending on what you want to do here, the Cerberus is going to utilize all 3.
Gotcha.
The Rare Leaf is going to be dominant Criollo 98. And the Corojo is going to be dominant Corojo 99.
So before we get into those 3, let's take a sponsor break because then we can go into the next cigar. Because this
I'm sorry, I felt like I'm taking over the show. You got to put me in my place.
No, not at all. Just looking at the responses and the questions.
Smoke.
The audience is really getting involved, and they've got questions and everything. So we're going to take a break. They're going to load up a bunch of questions. Frank will look, and we'll pop a little bit to it, and then we'll go to the full body cigar or whatever. Which one we're going to go to next?
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Different one. There
we
go.
Go for it, Frank.
This industry is steeped in family and tradition. There's generational stuff, and I see it over and over, and yet, no, I didn't come from that. Being the outsider looking in, I got to ask all the silly questions, and people were very accepting to want to give me all the right answers. I'm very thankful for those people who kind of allowed me to come in. Now with Alec and Bradley in the business, to have our company become generational, that's pretty cool.
Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are 4th generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature firehouse cigar line. All engines respond. Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
Combinations.
I know.
Wow.
Combinations.
I've been a nice person because I'm learning from Terence to be nice. I gave Bob.
Oh, that's a first, by the way.
It is a first. I let Bob, since he smoked out his 99, I let him smoke that with the 12, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's totally different."
And both delicious.
And both delicious. It's like, I don't know which one I like better now.
Wow.
It's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a great problem to have.
Everybody hit the share button. We still got a lot going on here, folks.
I figured it out.
Wow. So which one are we doing? Are we going to this one, guys?
Well, it really depends. How many cigars have you guys smoked today? Be honest with me.
Today?
Yeah.
6 or 7.
Okay, yeah. So I would do the Cerberus not today, only because I'd say smoke the Cerberus on a fresh palate, just because that utilizes all three. And so I would say either if you're more dominant on the Corojo side, go to the validation Corojo. If you want a little bit more of the earth and the richness, go to the rare leaf. It's up to you. Could go either way.
There you go, Bob.
Well, let's do the three. Let's do the same one. So what are you guys going to do?
Let's do the rare leaf. What do you think?
Rare leaf?
Okay. Sure. This is really good, though.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. All right.
This is a great problem to have. I love when we have issues like this where we don't know which one we prefer because we love them all.
Really screwed up my head here, man.
and I've smoked the rare leaf many times, but I'll smoke it again because, again, validating exactly. So how did you come up with the concept of the validation? I wanted to ask you that question too.
So what we try to always do is make things fun, but there's also obviously like a real thing. We don't want to come up with stories about, we have tobacco from Castro's beard that was fermented in a nuclear reactor. And
that's when he fought in Castro's army.
Yeah. So with validation, it's actually a real thing. Like Paul Palmer, the president of the company, he when a shipment comes in, he would say, "Terence, let's go validate it." And so like we would open up boxes randomly, and you look at the box, you look at the cigars, you take the cigar out, you kind of feel them. You look at the wrapper, make sure it looks right. You cut, dry pull. You smoke the cigar. You make sure it's burning well, drawing well. It's tasting the way it's supposed to taste consistently. All those types of things, and that's a real thing we do. But I also thought it was funny that it made it sound like it was like very serious work, which to some degree it is at times. But that you're smoking a cigar. So when I just want to smoke something and classify it as work, I call it validating. So. I'm like, hey, I got a new shipment of Supreme Leaf came in. Well, I better validate a few of those before we send them out.
I'm tired. That was a lot of work.
Yeah. And so it just kind of caught on as a thing, and it's a wonderful tool. A guy sent me a text message between him and his wife where he was his day off, and she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm out validating in the yard right now." And she went, "Oh, okay. Let me, when you're done, I've got a couple of things I want you to do." And so she didn't know what the hell it was. He said he was smoking a cigar. Hey, get in here. I got a honeydew list. So he all he wrote is he sent me that message. And he said, "You're a genius." So it's a great way. The boss calls. "Hey, what are you up to?" "Oh, listen, I'm validating right now. I'll get back to you." So
that's great. I love that idea.
I love it.
So we have a question from one of our listeners, Chris Eden. He goes, "How many cigars a day do blenders smoke, give or take, on trying to figure things out? Is there any kind of a number that they do before they have to change their palates or give it a break or something?"
I mean, it really depends on who. Some of them are a bit more methodical and like they're smoking more specifically. A lot of them, like I had an uncle who Jose Benito, who literally, I don't think anybody ever saw him without a cigar in his mouth. I mean, literally, he like woke up, he started smoking, and then when he went to bed, I think, he slept with it. I mean, so some guys, they're basically always smoking. That's just part of their life. They've been doing it for 70 years. Right. And then some guys, they basically are doing it more in terms of, okay, we got to go see this crop or this we got a bunch of bales of this farm coming in, let's go smoke them and test them out and that kind of thing. So they're smoking a lot no matter what. Some of them basically never stop, and some of them are a little bit more methodical and when and how they do it. But for the most part, it's rare to see them without a cigar in their mouth.
Wow.
So tell us a little more about this rare leaf. I mean, this is very tasty.
Oh, it's a beautiful
salivating.
Draw is absolutely
flawless.
Spectacular.
It is spectacular.
Yeah. So rare leaf got its name. So one of the things that we always have a little bit of trouble with is when you do a limited edition. Like for instance, like the farmers generally hate the limited editions. I don't think we hardly did any before I got to the company because they want to make something on a large scale and they make it the same thing over and over again on a large scale. But sometimes you have certain tobaccos that have a distinguishing characteristic that you really want to highlight in a blend. You can't really dilute them out too much or you'll lose that characteristic. And so you come out with a limited edition, and there's a value to that because you can create some very unique blends that really stand out, really highlight different nuances of your tobacco or a tobacco that's very special that really will stand out in it or whatever. But the downside, of course, is that they run out, and then they go to the guy goes to the retailer, goes, yeah, let me get another box of that, and then there's no more, and so then they're looking at other stores, and the retailer gets kind of annoyed about that. So what's the alternative? The alternative is you start making more, but that dilutes the blend, and then they're mad at you. How many times have you said, "Well, that blend was not the same as it used to be," because it's been diluted out because they made more and they just couldn't. They didn't have the tobacco to supply it, so they had to kind of dilute those rare tobaccos in the blend. And so it's kind of a catch-22. And so with Rare Leaf, what we do is we limit access to it. We only have about 150 accounts in the country that have access to it. So we're able to make it consistently so they can keep getting it in stock without having to worry about running out and then the customer looking somewhere else for it, but at the same time not diluting out those special tobaccos that make it stand out and make it distinctive. And so that's kind of where the concept of Rare Leaf came from, is ensuring that you can kind of get the best of both worlds, a unique blend that you can produce all year round. Now, if somebody orders like 500 boxes of it, then they're gonna have to wait. But like eventually, it's always in production. Basically, like they'll always be getting some. For the most part.
Right. So we have a question by Tim Paterni, I guess. Is there a palate cleansing between cigars for them down there that they would use? Just because they're smoking all day and everything, do they have a palate cleansing themselves?
Some of them like coffee beans. I've seen that. Saltines and soda is common for two reasons. Is that it also kind of when you're at this point, these guys are battle hardened, but when you're doing it with people that aren't necessarily used to smoking, that much, or smoking lots of Fumas and things like that, they start to see through time, after a few hours of this. And so you need to have, something to kind of revive them. Even for me, and I've been doing this quite a while, like I'll have crackers at various points throughout the day, not to cleanse the palate, but to kind of, keep me from getting too lightheaded.
Right.
12 hours of blending is a long time. But yeah, soda water is common, but I've seen a lot of guys use coffee beans for it. It's like a roasted coffee bean or something like that. Right. I forget. I've never tried that, but I usually just personally soda water, that kind of cleans it out. The thing is you have to keep in mind also that like, if you have to do too much to really it's kind of like retrohaling. Like I always say to everybody, I'm like, listen, once you get the cigar, you can do whatever you want with it. You can eat it if you want. But like if you want to experience the way the blender experiences it, you should retrohale. But the cigar should be enjoyable if you don't retrohale, because most people don't. And so if the only way you can really enjoy it is through retrohaling it. Now that doesn't mean you won't enjoy it more. But if the person doesn't enjoy it unless he retrohales, you're losing a large percentage of the market. It has to be an enjoyable cigar, even if you don't retrohale. Right. And so you have to be too careful about like getting too nuanced at times, I think, because then it's like, okay, well, unless it's a special project or something like that, where it's really, again, it's like Lanceros. Like Lanceros is a connoisseur cigar, but like the average person like looks at that and goes, oh, yeah, I'm not smoking that. That looks like something. They don't like how
Lancero guy, because he says it doesn't look good in his hand.
Yeah, it's okay.
He's very vain.
Perfect example. I mean, most people look at it and they don't want to smoke it for that reason. And so you have to kind of take these things in mind when you're coming out with what sizes do we come out with. Oh, everyone loves Lanceros. It's like it's the vocal minority. Most people don't smoke. Every time a store tells me like, oh, we're going to specialize in Lanceros, I'm like, Well, let me know when you're going out of business. I'll buy them, because
Well, I got to tell you, Lanceros has so much taste, though. You get everything.
I love them. I love them.
I thought, I mean, I don't care about the size or whatever, but the flavor from the Lancero, I think you get more flavor from that size.
It's a connoisseur size. It's really, but the bottom line is they're not popular.
Right.
They're just
their sales are not
Yeah.
like Oro. I mean,
I like a large ring cigar.
He's a Gordo guy.
Yeah, I get a Gordo.
The Gordo guy.
Yeah, the popular sizes Toro, Robusto, and Gordo 60 plus. Those are the three. Even Churchills have kind of died down. I think a lot. The person people don't have
they
the
were
time.
all the rage a few years ago. Churchills. Everybody had to have Churchill. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, it's a longer cigar, so the person looks at it and kind of goes, I don't know if I have that much time. People's lives are busier, So those are the three sizes that. Now it doesn't mean you can't come out with a Lancero. We have a box print Lancero. I love it. It's an amazing cigar. But
really?
But that's in one line. It's our anniversarial line. It's so that's kind of like a little bit more catering towards a more sophisticated audience. In terms of who will appreciate those type of things,
right.
So you can do it. It's just that you can't force your kind of views onto the consumer, or at least I can't. My job is I have a fiduciary. When I joined the company, we make some massive cigars. We make 8x80 on our Lunatic line.
Lunatics,
I joined the company. I was like, why do we make these things? And then I looked at the sales, and I was like, oh, well, that's why we make them. and to be honest with you, I'm not a guy. Over 60, it's just not my size. But I'll tell you that, if a cigar in that ring gauge is blended correctly, when big ring gauge first came out, the problem was is Latin people were basically like, these gringos don't know what they're doing, and they just threw more tobacco in there, and it got kind of a bad reputation for not being very
flavorful.
It's just packed with fill. Well, if you blend to the size, they're delicious.
Exactly.
And they burn cooler, and they have a lot of advantages. So there's cigars like our Lunatic Torch line, the 70 ring. There's a 4 3/4 by 70. To me, that's the most flavorful one of them all. It's not the size I prefer, but if I had to pick the best flavor, that would be the one I feel is
absolutely
that shorty Lunatic. Oh, it's
that's very good.
Oh, absolutely.
So what's in this then? Can you tell us what do you got?
So it's dominant Criollo 98, but the wrapper is Corojo. So it's a Corojo wrapper, double binder of Criollos, and then the filler is a mix of Corojo and Criollo. But the double binder really drives the blend on this. And so again, you'll get aspects of both, but I feel you get a little bit more of the 98 in it than you do of the 99.
Right. So all of your cigars, as far as your Aganorsa line, is going to be 100% Nicaraguan. You're not using any, or are you using other?
Some of our stuff is 100%. Like that right there is 100% us. We do have to, like, for instance, for the Connecticut, we buy Ecuador, Connecticut.
Gotcha.
We do buy San Andres, Maduro. So we do have to buy certain wrappers. We actually on the both the Aganorsa Leaf Signature and the Anniversario Maduro. That's a Nicaraguan Maduro. It's that we grow, but you can't grow a lot of it, and so we couldn't produce as many Maduros as we want to. Trying to grow it ourselves, and so you have to use other countries to supply that. That said, though, overall we're using about 90% of our own tobacco.
Wow, nice, good.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
This is delicious, though.
Oh,
very good cigar. Yeah. Very, very good, folks.
Yeah. And you pick up the notes that you picked up from the Fumas?
Oh,
Fumas.
No question about it.
And again, this is it started in the first third. It had a lot of smoke, very smoky. So there was. I enjoy it because of the fact that you've got that subtlety happening. I'm a guy that leans towards that baking spice.
Yeah,
I love that.
I like that
spice.
myself.
So and you do get a little bit of the pepper, but not a lot. The retro is so smooth.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's very rich. I feel that cigar.
Yes, very, very. It's got that depth that I enjoy as a cigar smoker. For me, cigar smoking is like life. It's a journey. You want it to take you somewhere. I've had cigars in the past that what I'll call, it's kind of like Bob likes to say, it's like when you drive a tractor and you're just smoking something and it's just like smoking.
You're killing time.
You're killing
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Keep the mosquitoes away, you know.
But you know, this is a cigar that again is going to give you that experience of
I
taking
want
you on a
to,
journey.
yeah, I want to get those changes. I want to,
Yes.
you know, experience the cigar. And this is excellent, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, Terence, we have another question from Earthling, Mr. Bruce Stark. How many cigars a day do you smoke?
So I'm really, I could be feast or famine. Again, in Nicaragua, when I'm down there, I mean, it's a baker's dozen probably. And then at least, and then, you know, when I travel, the thing is, when I visit accounts, you generally want to have a cigar with the guy because you show up. It's not like, you know, if you sell cigarettes or something like that, you show up to the convenience store, the guy goes, you need 2 packs of this, that, and the guy doesn't want to talk to you. And the salesman wants to get the heck out to the next place. Whereas in a cigar shop, the retailer, generally speaking, wants to sit down with you and have a conversation and have a cigar. And so if you go in the shop and say, well, you know, with the last 3 guys, I had a cigar with them, I'm really going to skip out on this. You know, that kind of isn't taken well, generally speaking.
No,
you know,
Right.
Even if they understand, it's kind of like a downer. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, you know, I don't see you that often, Terence. You know, you're not gonna have a cigar. So it actually affects what I smoke, because if I'm gonna have one cigar for the day, I love our Aniversario Maduro. I love some stuff that's much more bold and rich.
Mhm.
Okay.
But what I'm gonna know, I'm gonna be going around having 4 or 5 a day. You know, I tend to go at least through most of that, like our Aganorsa Connecticut. I love our Aganorsa Connecticut. It has a ton of flavor. It's got, it's not your, you know, just kind of classic, very smooth Connecticut. It's a low, medium bodied strength. And I can smoke that at 3 or 4 shops in a row and enjoy it and not blow out my palate. And so, and so I tend to, you know, the more I'm going to smoke, the factory is kind of a different exception because you have to, that's a different environment. But for my travels in the States or in the office, if I know I'm going to have several cigars, I tend to go with, you know, something that's a little bit lighter, because I know I'm going to be having so many. And then if I know I'm just going to have one today, or it's really that this one particular cigar is the one I really need to check out, I'd rather go with something stronger.
Right.
Sure.
Right. That makes
So,
a lot of sense.
Could you let the audience know maybe if you have a little bit of where your events, where you're going to be? I know Bruce is in Michigan. He's probably dying to see you up there. And we got the Paternis over in New York and the rest of them. Can you give us any dates that you're going to be out and around?
Yeah. I mean, next week I'm going to be in the Charlotte area. There's Cigar Week is next week, and I'll be up there. Golden Leaf Lounge on Thursday. I'm going to be at the Pipe and Pint in North Carolina as well, Greensboro, and next week. Also, Boda Smoke Shop in South Carolina next week. We have an event up at Napa. I will not be there, but it's going to be beautiful out in Mount St. Helen, California. St. Helena. That's going to be a beautiful dinner out there. They'll have an Aganorsa experience at a winery, which is going to be really cool. The best thing is to really just kind of, because we also have our local lab. I mean, God bless me, I travel a lot, but I can unfortunately not be everywhere. And so we were blessed to have our local guys who are capable of putting on these events. And so we have a whole bunch that are put on by our regional reps. And so depending on where you are, I highly recommend following our social medias and our Aganorsa Acolytes group on Facebook. And then, you can always reach out to me and, say, hey, I'm in this place. When is there an event coming up or anything going on? I can put you in touch with the local guy who could tell you, when there's something coming around. But there's usually something.
Central Florida. Anything happening here?
It's funny. Actually, Coronas, we just did a training up there like a week ago with the staff of the 3 Orlando stores. Although I think I'm supposed to go up there again pretty soon.
You got to let us know when you're
yeah,
up
we'll
here.
be
So
there.
We'll be there. We'll come and visit.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I'll check with our Florida guy and see what else we have scheduled around over the next month. But there's usually something going around somewhat nearby. And another thing is, if you have a local store, I always tell people that you'd like them to have, they carry Aganorsa and like them to have an Aganorsa experience, or they don't carry Aganorsa, you'd like them to carry it. Reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I really love you guys carry Aganorsa. Can you talk to the rep about doing one of these things, and they can show them this presentation we did here tonight, and and hopefully they'll have one on. We want to do these events. It's crucial to, we feel, our growth, because it's the most powerful way to hopefully turn somebody on to the product is by experiencing it.
Our New York crowd is busting out chops about you going to New York. They want you. Any idea when you hit New York? All right, New Yorkers, we got it. We just asked them.
I was just out there. I was there. Well, not just, but I was there last year. I did a few events out there. I know. I'm trying to. Well, it depends on where in New York. I'll be in.
Long
Syracuse.
Island.
Long Island. I'll be in Syracuse June 12th. I know that. I'll be in Syracuse.
Oh, wow. Is your passport still valid?
Yeah. But Long Island, we have a whole bunch of. I was last year. I did one at Matador Cigars. We had one out there, and then Tobacco Plaza. We've done a few out there, and we'll probably do more in the future. So. They're always kind of going on. It's just a matter of like paying attention, following us, and seeing when it's in the area. Like I can think of at least 5 different ones that have been in Long Island in the past 6 months or so. It's just you gotta keep your eye out.
Well, yeah. If you don't see Aganorsa products in the humidor, ask.
Bitch about
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, guys,
absolutely.
you're far more powerful than I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm wearing a logo on the shirt.
Well, that's what we're here for, man.
Yeah,
we're here to promote you.
When the consumer says, "Hey, I love this cigar. Could you bring in more, or could you have an event, or could you bring it in to begin with?" That goes way further than anything I can possibly say. So we appreciate anyone listening out there, going out there and preaching the gospel of Aganorsa.
I have a question for you, Terence.
Yes, sir.
Being in the industry for as many years as you have been, what do you think are your greatest takeaways from working at Aganorsa with Eduardo and his team there? What have you really taken away from this experience that was different than your past experiences?
So I'd say I was very blessed in that both places I've been able to work with vertically integrated companies. That's a big help, quite frankly. And I'll go to the differences in a second. I'm doing a politician thing.
You're doing the politician move. I love that.
You don't recall, right?
I learned from the best. So that helps a lot, because again, when somebody can be like, okay, that blend uses these tobaccos from this farm and this lot on the farm and priming number what, that is a lot easier to, and it's still hard to keep blend consistency than when you're basically buying something. And then the next time you buy it, I mean, is it really the same thing? Or who knows what? Like it's harder that way if you don't have that. I would say the big difference is that, like I said, when I was at Quesada, we made cigars in 3 different countries. We had cigars made out of Honduras, we had cigars made out of Nicaragua, and we had cigars made out of Dominican Republic. And I was kind of saying before, the advantage when I was there is that whoever you were, we could provide you a cigar that you were going to enjoy, because we had all the countries, we had all different tobaccos. We had something for everybody. For Aganorsa, like I said, we more have a sweet spot of a signature style that we create different expressions of, and we've really honed and mastered that. So we don't have a cigar on the downside. We don't have a cigar for everybody. We don't have a cigar for the guy that wants super, super mild or super, super strong. We don't have those range. We kind of go from a low medium to full flavored with complexity, richness, balance, a little spice, nothing too aggressive, nothing too, and then never plain, never dull. And that's kind of where we live. And the advantage to that is, as I was saying kind of before, if you like Aganorsa, when you buy an Aganorsa made cigar, whether that's one of our brands or from one of the partners that we make cigars for, you know what you're going to get into, and there's advantages to that as well. So they're both have advantages. It's not a wrong way or a right way. It's just you just have to approach it differently depending on what you're going for.
Right. And I think what's really interesting is, because just knowing a little bit about Eduardo's background and where he came from, I don't know. Some people may know or not. Most people probably do if you follow Aganorsa. But Eduardo's family, even though he is from Cuba, he was not born into a cigar tobacco family.
No.
So I think it's very interesting because, here's a person who was in the business world and then decided to get into tobacco just because he wanted to be closer to the ocean. He wanted to get away from the hectic lifestyle of being in Madrid and New York City. So
you've done your research.
Yeah, well, you have to. And what's beautiful about that, it goes to show you that for everyone that you're never just stuck in one lane. Always leave yourself open because you never know what can happen.
Yeah, his story is really interesting in the sense that, like you said, it has some similarities. He's a Cuban guy. His family left Cuba after, like everybody else, they donated their stuff to the good old Castro, and he grew up in South Florida. But he was not involved in tobacco. He went to school business. He ended up with his brother opening a pizza chain in Spain and really turning that with his brother into a massive success that put him at a place in his life by his mid-40s where he could kind of do whatever he wanted. And he'd always wanted to be involved in agriculture. And what's funny is that, like you said before, is kind of one thing that does stand out to me about Eduardo is he has a very can-do attitude. Like in fact, one of the reasons he wanted to get out of Europe is that in Europe, there's very much kind of with all the bureaucracy and everything, it's like, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. And for him, the more of the American spirit of, we can do it, we can figure it out. He preferred that, and he kind of wanted to get away from the mentality over in Europe. And so he went to Nicaragua, started buying land in the mid 90s and cattle, pigs, and tobacco. And on the tobacco side, because he didn't have the experience, he brought in Cubans who had worked for Cuba Tobacco. He didn't go and say, hey, your name is Jose, you're from Havana, let's go and you're going to be my Cuban. Like he got guys, Arsenio Ramos, Jacinto Iglesias, Chantito Gomez. These guys have 50 plus years of experience in Cuba, half a century of experience back, especially when Cuba was at its best and they knew a lifetime of knowledge of tobacco, taking them and giving them the resources in Nicaragua to kind of to create that Cuban style of leaf. And the word Cubanesque is so abused in this business, I hate using it. But the idea was really that it was to bring these guys in and give them Nicaraguan resources to create blends that were reminiscent of the old style of Cubans. And
absolutely, I mean, it's amazing because in the 90s, really, it was very little was kind of known in the early, I'll call it the first cigar boom in our lifetime, not Bob's lifetime, because the cigar boom in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
In Tampa.
Yeah,
exactly.
But,
he worked for J.C. Newman when it first came out.
it was really interesting because tobacco and cigar smoking in the early 90s to mid 90s, and then it fell off in the late 90s. He went in and purchased land when tobacco and cigar sales were down, like really down. So he took such a risk, and all of a sudden the next boom and his tobacco became prevalent in the next boom. It became like signature to what people were looking for. And I find that very, very forward thinking in a way that most people really would never take that risk, because it seemed like,
it's pretty ballsy.
It's ballsy,
especially when you're getting, like you said, into a time frame where so many regulations were being placed on it, and people were starting to frown on tobacco. And
not to mention what he did is, like, when you grow tobacco, generally speaking, there's a buyer. Like you're not growing it and saying, oh boy, or sure if somebody buys this, because there's a whole cost to this. It's agriculture. You've got to harvest it. You've got to put it in a curing barn. You've got to put it in a fermentation. This all needs to happen. It's a heavy labor cost, and it costs money to do all that. So if you don't have a buyer, you're kind of like, paying all these people, hoping, but Eduardo, he kind of felt that if you have a good product, people will beat a path to your door. And he literally just started growing tobacco, and sure enough, that's what happened. So
now is some of the, I would think that, does he still have tobacco that I would call his kind of like baby, where it's set to the side and,
you mean his cigars?
His personal stash. His personal stash. Let's put it that way.
His special stash
of specially aged tobacco that, hey, you don't want to let go of. I mean, there's only so much. I mean, I'm sure he's put things aside.
I'll tell you a funny story. He so every once in a while, what he does is he puts something aside that kind of like, he says certain cigars he'll smoke them and he'll get what's kind of called like a nosegasm, where you're like it just like hits you and you kind of go, and so he'll put some of the whatever that blend is, he'll put some of those aside. No bands or anything like that. He'll just put those aside. And I'll come down and he'll be like, Terence, you got to try this one. I was like, yeah. I don't know, my heart. I got to check my heart. I'm not ready for this.
That's awesome. Anyway, let's go to our final segment, guys. Final sponsorship.
Yes.
Frank, do you want to talk about what's coming up next?
I'll give Terence a little bit of background of what we do as a way to kind of. As a give back to our audience for putting up with us, we do a thing called, it's a trivia section. And, Terence is a history guy. He actually majored in history.
I know.
So,
pressure's on.
I know, the pressure is on. But we do a little trivia, and then we ask a question to the audience. And we usually try to see if we can give away a sampler or something where the winner of that segment gets something. Is there anything that we can do or that you can do? We can't do anything that might allow one of our listeners, watchers, or whatever you want to call it, fans, as a prize for them, maybe something that they can experience in their own home. And now that they've seen this, they can kind of react to and validate and do all the fun stuff that we've done today.
Absolutely not. No, of course.
Those little samplers so they can try
it. So, hey, folks, listen, when we come back, we're going to have a little, what we like to call, it's a segment called Smoke the Chooch. And the Chooch in Italian means kind of, this is our mascot for that section because it's just a fun way to do it. And the chooch is the hardest working animal on the planet. It's the donkey. So I try to stump the guys and see some questions. I might try to even stump you, Terence. So please feel free during this next segment. I'll have questions for you and the guys and see if you can come up with an answer. And then I'll give one to the audience for the grand prize. And Terence will throw that in and we'll end with a lovely, crescendo.
No, that sounds good.
Wow. Okay, Frank, take it away.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series, featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind.
You got the one-of-a-kind rankings. They got me at 89. I'm cool with that.
We are focused on evolving as a dynamic brand and bringing you new flavor-filled blends that you'll enjoy and want to share. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. Blue Smoke Atlanta is the vision of Robin Blue, founder and CEO, and represents an award-winning luxury smoking accessory line based in Atlanta and sold worldwide. Since 2019, Blue Smoke Atlanta's goal was to redefine traditional smoking accessories into a timeless collection of exquisitely handcrafted luxury products to include cigar pokers, cannabis clips, jewelry, and other awesome things. For an elevated smoking experience, visit us at www.bluesmokeatl.com.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewv.com.
A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark, 141 years ago, 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Erik Peter Stokkeby. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark, pipes made of the finest quality briar, and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th Generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
And we're back, folks. Well, again, this has been an incredible learning lesson tonight, Terence. I mean, it's been amazing. It really is. It's blown me away on what the process of how the blenders are putting their leaves together. It's been incredible. Thank you.
Greatest night of our whole lives.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Terence, where could people go? I know you have an Acolytes page where people can sign on and be part of and get a T-shirt. Ron, show the patch because, you have the T-shirt somewhere. No, Ronnie's probably, let me take a look at that patch. Nice.
This is the patch, okay, and they have a Facebook page that you can get on and show what you're validating. And when you do, you get a patch along with a fantastic T-shirt. I'm sorry I don't have it with me, but it's great.
Terence, that's called being unprepared.
Yeah, I got the patch. I got the patch.
Not bad.
His T-shirt's probably in the laundry. Knowing Ronnie,
I wear that shirt. Yes, I do. So, Terence, why don't you just tell a little bit about that page and how people can jump on board?
Yeah, so there's Aganorsa Acolytes, the Facebook group. Basically, just no politics, religion, be nice, and validate Aganorsa and post in the group. And that's really all the rules we have. And then we run contests and things like that sometimes, and again, some fun stuff like that. The key is that you love Aganorsa and you want to be a part of the group and meet other people that do that. And we put a lot of information about our events and where we'll all be, and that kind of stuff is in there. So also though, Instagram. We have our Aganorsa Leaf page there. We put a lot of stuff there. Also, our YouTube channel, Aganorsa Leaf, is a great opportunity to see a lot of videos on all the things we talked about, farms, fields, Fumas, or brands. So, the bottom line is just stay in touch. That's what we want. The beauty of social media and the technology is that we're able to connect with people that we would have a harder time doing so. And 30, 40 years ago, and now we have, the tip of our fingers. So please reach out anytime.
And definitely you got to get this Rare Leaf, folks. It is an incredible cigar. Absolutely. All right, Frank.
All right, I'm going to
let's
give you guys
let's
the
start it
cards
up.
to see.
This is for
All
us,
right.
and then the audience will practice.
I love dates in history because I think they're very important. And on April 14th, Bob, 1828. This is right around the time that you hit puberty.
Yep.
Right, 1828. So, Terence, this is going to tax your knowledge here of history. The first American-style English dictionary was published by whom?
Webster.
That Funkin' Wagnall, right?
Yeah, Webster. Yeah.
Give me his first name though.
Oh, Alex West.
Webster. Terence, do you know his first name?
Was it Daniel Webster?
Nope. Noah Webster.
Noah Webster? He's related to Daniel Webster.
He was. He was a
related.
He was a distant cousin.
Yep.
He was a distant cousin.
Yeah. There's like something about like how like they wanted to have like Americanisms for spelling and things like that.
Right.
And that was one of the reasons was that they wanted to have some differentiation from the English.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we know how to really screw up the English language.
I thought we were original.
No, we were not. Bob.
Hey, look at Chris and Kenny. Kenny's jumping on. They're fighting each other out. They both had Noah. And Chris says, "Oh, wait a minute, I got that first." These guys.
They're fighting for this. But let's go. I'm going to take you back now to April 17th. Well, these are all close to. Hey, a day before today.
I was a classics major, just so you know. So I was Greek Roman Greek was really my specialty.
Do I have any Greek Roman mythology? Maybe. No, I don't think so.
No, I'm just joking.
What was Zeus's favorite cigar?
Aganorsa.
There you go.
Well, listen, we'll go to April 17th, and we'll go to 1961.
Ooh, okay.
A U.S.-backed attempt to overthrow the premier, Mr. Fidel Castro,
Yeah, pigs.
actually failed miserably. And what was it called? That man right there, Bay of Pigs.
Of course.
Bay of Pigs.
Yeah,
Thank
remember that.
You. I knew Terence was going to jump on that right away.
Yeah,
Remember that.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember that. Yeah,
we were trying to be nice and let you finish, but he beat you.
Yeah. We're quick in the dead around here, guys. I didn't get the first question, so now I'm looking bad.
No, you made good. You did make good. You did make good. One more for you guys. Here, this is an interesting one. Let's see if you guys know this one. April 18th. So it's this date in history, Bob. We're going back to 1775. This was what? Come on. It was called the Midnight Ride.
Paul Revere.
Paul Revere.
Yes.
And there was
And
also
what
was the name of Paul Revere's horse?
There was a second rider.
Dwells.
What was his name? There was a second rider.
Yeah, Dwells.
Dwells is not the correct.
Devers. Oh man,
that was William Dawes.
I knew. I had to begin with a D. Give me that, will you? Bob. Bruce Stark says Bob Pecorini was the other driver.
That's when he learned how to. He actually rode the Jackass. During one time.
One town a day.
That's why I never got there in time.
I'll give you guys one more because this is an easy one. You guys should get this. Just saying. In April 22nd in 1864, what was included on all newly minted U.S. coins by an act of Congress?
Mint.
What was in quotes the term mint, which was included on all newly
In God
minted
we trust.
In God we
Never.
trust.
Yeah.
There you go. In God we trust. You guys are not so
We're not so stupid.
No.
Stupid, but not that stupid. Oh yes, Chris, we beat you. Sorry.
All right, this is for the audience. Now, see, I have to be very careful because one of my friends told me that I should not put the actual text on the screen.
Yeah, that's
because
no
people
more,
actually cheat.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
They use OCR technology.
There's now some new technology
well, it's
for
been
that.
out there, and people are using OCR.
Oh, wow.
They exact things that I write, and then they OCR it. And before I'm done even saying it, they give me the answer.
Like last week.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on to people now.
I think that's Chris and Kenny. Chris and Kenny and Bruce. Definitely.
So I told Kenny tonight he's never winning again.
So this is for the audience. So you're going to have to listen to me. I know that that's difficult. So you have to pay attention.
It is difficult.
This is for the grand prize. And
what is the grand prize tonight, by the way?
I'm going to ask Terence.
We'll come up with something good.
So Terence is going to come up with something good. So, all right, folks, here you go. Cigars that have unique shapes like torpedoes and perfectos typically use what type of bunching technique? What type of bunching technique on a torpedo and or perfecto?
That's interesting.
You like that, huh?
They have 3 seconds to reply.
Nobody.
They're all
you see what happens? He didn't write it down, Frank. Very
Alexa
good.
And Siri are going nuts right now.
All right,
yeah,
Chris.
No prize.
Chris,
I had nothing, so it's perfect.
Renegade. Renegade. All right, by Chris. Brady bunching by Joe.
Joe, he's a chooch. Brady bunching. No, that's the Brady bunching. That's a good one.
So we got Chris had Renegade.
No. That's incorrect, folks.
Incorrect. All right.
Incorrect. What typical type of bunching technique are used?
Bruce Stark says Bonchera.
Let me.
Bonchero?
Bonchera.
Oh,
wasn't that a truck that Ford made back in the 60s?
That's like the Bonchero. No, folks, you gotta look up the bunching technique that is typical when. No.
Entubar
is not.
Okay.
Typically
bookend
for the bunching of a torpedo and or perfecto. It is a different type of.
Well, how long are we going to let this go on, though?
Well, it's the third one. We've given it some time.
People will figure it out.
See, the whole thing is that he didn't write it, so this has really become difficult.
I know.
Now people have to actually listen. Before they were using their, OCR technology.
So, Frank, what if you put it up now? Because we're into the third Jeopardy. No, you're going to make it tough on him, huh?
Yeah, there's always cheaters, man.
What is the type of bunching? Just look up. Hey, guys, I'll give you a hint.
Don't
look up bunching techniques, and then it'll give you a list, and you'll see the type that's typically used for not
Topette?
Nope, it's not topette. It's not
accordion.
Accordion? No, accordion is not. You know why? Because it's more difficult to actually bunch and roll that type of cigar because you get imperfection. So you really have to be what I will call a seasoned
roller.
Absolutely. You have to be seasoned.
Okay.
So
we'll take.
What's this? Entubado by Ken?
No, somebody said entubado, and it was not. It was wrong, Ken. Sorry, but it's not.
Ken's not listening.
Ken's not listening.
Nope.
Freaking out.
He's freaking out. They're freaking out. The Cuban bunch.
Joey, Cuban bunch. Oh man.
You know what I love? Terrence, I love when I the book bunching. Look, Kenny's trying everything.
Yeah.
Lieberman, no, that is more the simplest, right? Hey, Terrence, tell them that's Lieberman is very much.
Lieberman's the machine you use to bunch.
Exactly. That's like the cheater's way to bunch, right?
Frank, you have another question, Frank? You got one more question for him, maybe?
No.
Nobody. No, you want to stick in it, Bob?
No, that's it. That's it. If there's no winners, there's no winners.
Yeah. Right, what are you going to do? I mean, we could.
Terrence gets off cheap tonight.
Everyone wins.
Everybody. All right. What does Bruce have? He's got enough time with Alexa.
Oh man,
he's got a lot of time.
What has he got there? What has he got?
Estrado.
Ballet bunching. Estrado. No, I mean, folks,
Wow.
I can't believe that I've stumped. That's
Yeah, you
called
stumped.
when you stump the audience.
And there's a lot of cheaters on that audience too.
There are a lot of cheaters. That just goes
That's
to
it.
show you.
That's it. That they cheat all
They
the
cheat
time.
all
They
the
all
time.
Now
There
we're
you
on.
go.
to them.
Now we're on.
So
That's it.
there's no winners tonight. That's it. That's it.
Oh, but then
That's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes.
I like some of these answers though, because the farmers bunch.
The farmers bunch. I like that. That's like the farmers market.
Now they're just putting words in front of bunch, you know?
Right, they try
the apple bunch, the banana bunch.
I'm going to give them a hint.
this is the first time we have no winners. Come on.
No, it's not the
I'm gonna
first.
give them
No.
I'm going to give them a hint.
Wow.
Combination.
It's a combination of bunching techniques which allow them to do this, so that when you combine things, it's not one or the other. It would be considered something that's in between those, or something that will allow them to use different techniques to create a torpedo and or perfetto.
Why don't you just give them the answer?
Wow, I can't believe no one figured this out.
Hey,
Chris says, so another question.
Another question.
No, there's
All
no
right.
more.
All
No
right.
more.
Do one more and let's get this.
Oh.
Come on, let's go. One more question.
One
You
more
guys stink.
Oh, wait a minute. Christopher Eden. No, Kenneth Cook.
No, it's Kenny. Kenny beat Chris this time.
No, they're
Bonchero.
both the same. They're both saying the same, but it's wrong. So
They're
I'm gonna
both
give it-
wrong.
They're
They're
both
still
wrong.
wrong.
They're both wrong. So I'm
Hurry
gonna
up. One more
ask
question
one
so
more
we can let Terrence go.
question. Here we go.
I think the internet's going to crash on
Crash on
this
that.
one.
What business school did Eduardo Fernandez graduate from?
Oh,
If you're paying
I
attention,
know.
And I said it. Yeah.
Don't say
if
no,
they
no,
were
no.
paying attention,
No question, folks.
Oh,
did
wait.
Eduardo Fernandez graduate from?
Oh, boy.
Wow, hey. We have Jay.
Wharton School of Business.
Yes, we're gonna go here. It looks like Jay had it. Wait a minute, hold on. Yes, let me go here. Right here. The answer is right here.
Wharton School of Business.
There we
Very
go.
good, Jay.
Yeah, I wonder if
Excellent.
you knew Trump.
Wharton School of Business, folks.
There you go.
And the answer, actually, because I know people are going to want to know this, they're going to think that I made this up. But the actual answer to the original question is this. It is a hybrid or gorado
Bunching. Oh, now we're giving the answer.
I gave them the answer.
Jay, you're on Facebook.
Bonchero.
It's not the
Bonchero.
Jay, we need your information so we can get that over to
Yes.
Terrence. You're on, I believe, Facebook, probably.
No, he's on YouTube, I believe.
On YouTube? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
he wins
send
the
an
pot,
email
right?
to the what is it? The Great Cigar and Pipe Show at
What is it?
gmail.com.
Doesn't even know our email.
What show are you on?
Or just send us an email, or send us your information. No, don't put your information on YouTube, because then
No, we don't want
No,
that.
no.
Send us a PM with your address, your proper name, not just Jay, because sending it to Jay may get lost in the mail.
Or you can text it to 847-909-2378. 847-909-2378. You got that? And I'll get that text message. from
Sure
you.
he will.
Terrence, thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you so
time. I know
much,
we
buddy.
went a little bit longer than expected,
Yeah.
but it was so mesmerizing about what you taught us here tonight.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you for
It was
guys
awesome.
having me. This was,
No,
it
a
was
lot of
the greatest
fun.
night of our lives. I keep saying it. I haven't heard any of you say it yet, but I mean,
Oh no, I know for me it was an experience of a lifetime.
It was.
Absolutely. We've never done that before.
I just need to say one time, the greatest night of our whole lives.
It was the greatest of our whole lives.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we're going to see you at PCA in Las Vegas in July. We're going to see you personally there again, and
Can't
we'll
wait.
get you a little bit for that. So thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. All you listeners out there, thank you. Jay, please reach out so we can get that special prize that we don't know yet, but Terence does. So we'll get that over to him, and we'll
Or at
get
least
that
I will.
prize to you. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. From all of us to all of you guys, we'll see you next week right here. And again, thank you for your sharing everything to your friends out there. And thanks for listening to the show. So, guys, you have a great night. Terence, thank you. If you want to stay for the after party, that's up to you. You can stay on.
He's got things to do.
You got it.
Good night.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, guys.
Good night.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful.